The Moon's south pole has become a critical target for global space agencies and military strategists alike in recent years. This once overlooked region now holds the key to future exploration, energy independence, and potential military advantage. Unlike most of the lunar surface, the South Pole contains craters that are permanently shadowed from sunlight. These perpetually dark regions have trapped water ice for possibly billions of years, preserved in extreme cold. Water ice is more than a curiosity. It's vital for producing breathable oxygen and rocket fuel on the Moon. The ability to mine ice and convert it into hydrogen and oxygen would support long-term lunar missions. NASA's Artemis program specifically targets this region to establish a permanent human presence near the lunar South Pole. The Artemis missions aim not just to visit the Moon, but to stay, live, and work there sustainably. China, meanwhile, has declared its ambitions to reach the South Pole through its Chang'e missions by the 2030s. With growing global tensions, China and Russia have signed agreements to build a joint lunar research base. India's Chandrayaan-3 mission successfully reached the lunar south, collecting data on the region's topography and mineral distribution. The European Space Agency and private partners are exploring technologies to participate in lunar South Pole development. Unlike the Moon's equatorial regions, the South Pole has areas with almost continuous sunlight for solar energy. Near eternal daylight on elevated ridges makes it ideal for solar-powered infrastructure and communication relays. Meanwhile, shadowed craters just a few kilometers away provide access to ancient, untouched resources like ice. This rare combination of light and dark, power and water makes the region incredibly valuable and contested. Countries aren't only racing to explore the Moon, they're racing to control access to its most strategic regions. Space isn't just about science anymore, it's becoming a geopolitical and military frontier. Establishing dominance at the lunar South Pole could secure a foothold in future deep space missions to Mars. From a military standpoint, the Moon offers potential advantages in satellite positioning and orbital dominance. Whoever controls the Moon's high ground could theoretically monitor or even disable assets in Earth orbit. That strategic advantage is one reason the US launched the Space Force in 2019 as a dedicated military branch. The Space Force is actively exploring how cislunar space between Earth and the Moon could become militarized. Military space planners are considering how bases on the Moon might support defensive or surveillance capabilities. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty forbids national claims on the Moon, but leaves gaps on commercial exploitation. No current international agreement effectively governs the mining or militarization of lunar resources. This legal gray area increases the risk of future disputes over territory, technology, and extraction rights. The Moon could eventually be divided, not by flag planting, but by whoever controls critical infrastructure first. To prevent conflict, diplomatic frameworks are urgently needed to regulate peaceful and equitable Moon activities. One proposed agreement is the Artemis Accords, created by NASA and signed by over 24 nations. These accords emphasize transparency, sustainability, and peaceful cooperation in lunar exploration. But China and Russia have not joined, highlighting ongoing geopolitical divisions in space exploration priorities. Amidst all this, the scientific opportunities at the South Pole remain extraordinary and worth the competition. Permanently shadowed craters may preserve cosmic materials from the early solar system, offering clues to planetary formation. The Moon's regolith, or surface dust, also holds records of solar radiation and meteor impacts over eons. NASA plans to use South Pole bases as analogues for testing Mars habitats and life support systems. Lunar gravity, which is 1/6 that of Earth, allows easier launch of future missions deeper into space. These missions could refuel at the Moon using locally derived hydrogen, saving millions in launch costs. 3D printing using lunar regolith may enable astronauts to build habitats, roads, and tools directly on the surface. Engineers are developing inflatable shelters, dust-repellent suits, and radiation shields suited for polar lunar conditions. Radiation is a major hurdle as the moon lacks a magnetic field to protect against solar flares and cosmic rays. Shielded habitats buried beneath regolith or ice are being considered to ensure astronaut safety and mission longevity. Medical research is also underway to study how long-term moon exposure affects human health and psychology. Space agencies hope to design support systems that can monitor, diagnose, and treat issues autonomously. Public and private partnerships are driving many of these innovations, from navigation to robotics to communication. SpaceX, for instance, is developing the Starship system to carry astronauts and cargo to the moon and back. Blue Origin's Blue Origin. Blue Moon Lander is designed specifically for delivering heavy payloads to the lunar South Pole. Startups are testing autonomous lunar rovers that can explore, excavate, and map areas before humans arrive. Each breakthrough brings us closer to a sustainable lunar presence that supports science, industry, and exploration. But commercialization of the moon brings ethical dilemmas. Who decides how resources are shared or preserved? Environmentalists warn that unchecked development could damage the pristine lunar landscape irreversibly. Cultural heritage advocates call for protections on Apollo landing sites and other historic moon artifacts. Some propose creating lunar parks, protected zones for scientific and cultural conservation on the moon. Meanwhile, economic forecasts suggest that lunar industries could one day generate trillions of dollars in value. Potential markets include rare mineral extraction, helium-3 mining for fusion energy, and deep space refueling stations. Lunar tourism and research stations may also emerge as viable ventures in the decades ahead. Education systems are starting to adapt, encouraging STEM fields tied to space exploration and engineering. The next generation of space workers will be engineers, coders, scientists, and designers trained for lunar challenges. Universities are already partnering with space agencies to build robotic systems tailored for the South Pole terrain. Children watching lunar landings today may one day walk the dusty hills of Shackleton Crater themselves. Popular media, films, games, and documentaries are playing a role in sustaining excitement and curiosity about the moon. Social media influencers are bringing space science to broader audiences through storytelling and simplified explanations. As the moon returns to global headlines, public engagement will help shape policy, funding, and international cooperation. Ultimately, the moon's South Pole represents more than just a new frontier. It's a crucible for human ambition. What we choose to build there reflects our values, priorities, and willingness to act as responsible spacefarers. A sustainable, peaceful lunar presence could be a beacon of what global unity and scientific progress can achieve. Alternatively, competition without cooperation could spark tension and inequality in this new space domain. Our actions on the moon must align with long-term visions for Earth and humanity. Let this moment be one of reflection, as well as determination to forge a better future beyond our planet. With wisdom, diplomacy, and shared goals, the South Pole of the moon could uplift all of civilization. The moon has always inspired myths and dreams. Now it challenges us to turn imagination into responsible reality. Humanity's next giant leap may begin not just with rockets, but with reason, respect, and resolve.